The left versus right paradigm lie is alive and well, and only fools seek identification and validation with the masses. This video right here comes to us by Midas Touch, who now has 4.3 million subscribers. Not too long ago, they just cracked 2 million. And we are talking about these people on a stellar rise. They released this video 10 hours ago. It already has nearly 3 million views because people are brain dead morons and they don't critically think. I'm going to watch this with you. We're going to pick it apart. Let the commentary begin. Check this out.
That was in Texas's 3rd congressional district. You don't get much more ruby red than Texas's 3rd. The MAGA Republican Congress member getting booed right there for his and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all the other MAGA Republicans' actions. It's Congress member Keith Self. It's basically like a plus 30 Trump Republican district in Texas's 3rd. Let me just show you another angle so you have a full kind of scale of the crowd that assembled at Keith Self's town hall as he was mercilessly booed, but as other MAGA Republicans across the country were mercilessly booed. Here, play this clip.
This is adults.
Now, I'll do a whole other video on all of these other MAGA Republican Congress members getting booed at the recent town halls they held. But let's go up north, shall we, to Toronto, where the WWE held an event. And during the singing of the national anthem, guess what you heard? More boos. Here, play this clip.
A lot of this is interpretive. Like sometimes they'll be booing, sometimes they won't. Sometimes it's just a big room background noise. But the takeaway of this is that it's no measure and never will be a measure of good mental health to be considered well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. You know, we have sick people who have a sick mental disposition, who want to immerse themselves in politics, left politics, right politics. And it's funny and frightening that we have a uniparty system that continues to fight as though politics were WWE, and Ben Meiselas is just one of those cogs in the wheel.
And folks, Canada is pissed. I mean, Donald Trump continues to threaten annexation. Donald Trump said that on Monday he will reinstate or put in place, who even knows with him, the tariffs that he threatened 30 days ago to try to inflict financial devastation, like our closest ally, you know, a country that is like literally our top trading partner. So of course the people are going to boo. And in Canada, they are currently boycotting pretty much all things American, boycotting American tourism. We stand in solidarity with you, Canada. The Midas Touch podcast is the #1 podcast in all of Canada. So while that booing is taking place, what is
What does that tell you about the mental disposition of Canadians, Americans, wherever you are, that has Midas Touch Network as the #1 podcast in your country? People really want to listen to this shallow garbage nonsense from people who really have nothing to say and who want to feed you into the gristmill of what is known as American politics.
United States under the Trump regime, which has joined the axis of evil with Russia, North Korea, Belarus, and Hungary.
As though any government entity cannot be considered the axis of evil. Government itself is evil. Government consists of nothing but lies, deception, fear-mongering, coercion, death, destruction, mayhem, killing. That's what government is. But this guy wants you on board the government train. He wants you to be on his train, but really both trains are in different boxcars on the same track heading in the exact same direction. That's politics.
What are they doing? The White House is posting images like this photo of J.D. Vance sitting on his girlfriend a couch. And the White House account says, the White House account goes, have you said thank you once? And they're bragging that J.D. Vance was attacking President Zelensky of Ukraine in the Oval Office meeting. And he said, have you ever said...
Puppets attacking puppets, by the way. So Ukraine is a puppet of the United States. And the United States, thanks to congressmen and senators and presidents like Donald Trump and Joe Biden, are puppets dangling from the string of Netanyahu and Israel.
Thank you. Say thank you to me right now. And it's like...
It is childish. Truly is. It is.
President Zelensky said thank you repeatedly to the people of the United States of America. Even though he shouldn't say thank you to Donald Trump and Vance, he said thank you repeatedly. All President Zelensky said that he was not willing to say is that Putin is a good guy, because Putin is killing Ukrainians en masse and unlawfully invaded Ukraine.
Putin's killing Ukrainians. Obama killed how many people with his drone strikes? Biden killed how many people? Bush 1 and Bush 2 killed how many people? Donald Trump dropped how many bombs during his presidency? It's Democrat, it's Republican. If Putin is guilty of being a megalomaniac, so is Trump, so is Biden, so is Harris, so is Obama. These guys are freaking... Ben, how can you sleep with yourself, bud?
So while Trump and Republicans are getting booed, what's Donald Trump doing? It's weekend at Bernie's. It's a vacation time.
Weekend at Bernie's, says a supporter of Joe Biden. Sleepy Uncle Joe, sleepy, creepy, PEDO Uncle Joe.
For Donald Trump, as the Patriot Takes account goes,
I think Biden is a PDF file, right?
Working hard to lower grocery prices by golfing and reposting Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, this is what homeschooling looks like in Georgia's 14th. Gulf of America, America, yeah.
I agree. This Marjorie Taylor Greene is so dumb. So dumb.
And it's a map where I guess somebody put America over Gulf of Mexico. Right-wing propaganda right now in America, state regime-run media, they're trying to desperately cover up for Donald Trump because they know the American people are pissed. They thought the American people were stupid. They figured they elected Donald Trump, so maybe American people wouldn't realize that the Trump GOP budget gets rid of Medicaid, basically. $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid, close to $400 billion in cuts to education, close to $300 billion in cuts to farmers, over $10 billion in cuts to infrastructure. But the billionaires get $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. And so here's five.
And billionaires didn't get those cuts under Biden. Billionaires didn't get any kind of special favors under Obama or under Clinton. Don't billionaires get favors all the time? Isn't there money in politics? Did Biden get money out of politics? Has Bernie successfully gotten money out of politics? Do you think Trump wants money out of politics? None of these politicians want money out of politics because then they're not going to be retired as million and billionaires themselves. Ben.
Fox trying really hard with its propaganda saying, look, Trump needs a Nobel Peace Prize. What he did in the Oval Office merits Nobel Peace Prize. They're so pathetic. Here, watch this for yourself.
Luxembourg doesn't have the weapons to give them.
I think we got to get back to the central point. I think the most important point that Donald Trump made in this whole thing. He said, you are gambling with World War III.
Yep.
This was about peace, ultimately. There's a lot of drama, and we can break down everybody's feelings. But in the end, I think what's remarkable is that we have a president who's willing to do anything to bring about world peace. Man, if he doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize after this, it means nothing.
And he was giving Zelensky.
And then you have the right-wing clown, no offense to clown propagandists, because not all clowns are propagandists. These are the clown propagandists, like Benny Johnson going, President Trump at Mar-a-Lago on the phone, working. He's an absolute machine.
I agree with this guy on this. I agree with Ron Filipkowski. Benny Johnson is a clown, juggling feverishly under the three-ring circus big top. But so is Ben Meiselas. So is Ron Filipkowski and Midas Touch and Luke Beasley and Brian Tyler Cohen and all the leftist propagandists. So you got leftist propagandists, again, making fun of rightist propagandists. You got the clowns in this ring making fun of the clowns in that ring, and everybody in the audience is picking which clowns they want to go with. It's almost like we're dealing with a bunch of children here.
Or emoji. It's like these right-wing influencers who went to the White House on Friday and they were handed like a binder, and the binder said Epstein files. And so Trump's trying to cover up.
An absolute joke. It was an absolute joke. Did any additional files get released? And forget about just the files and the documents, the things written on pieces of paper. Where's all the video evidence? You know there's hundreds, thousands of hours of video. And Pam Bondi's going to make all these excuses?
Not turning over the Epstein files, because we know from what's already been released, I mean, Trump's name, based on what was released in 2021, I mean, Trump's name is on the flight log. Trump's name
Lolita Express, Donald Trump.
Is on the call log. Trump's name is in depositions. I mean, Trump was close friends with Epstein. Said Epstein was a great guy.
Terrific
who likes
guy.
Women on the younger side. Anyway, they gave the right-wing influencers, if you even want to call them that, who showed up at the White House, a binder that said transparency, the Epstein files, except it wasn't the Epstein files. And then the right-wing influencers were like, oh yeah, we got it. I mean, how horrific that you're like dancing around with a call log from 2021, which is not the files.
That is a legitimate criticism. No matter who you look, no matter who you are speaking out for and supporting, no matter if it's left or right, you know this has to be. Look here, you got DC Drano right here. You got Liz Wheeler. You got Mike Cernovich. You got Libs of TikTok, all with these cheesy grins on their face. And it is, not only is it a nothing burger, this is a deception. This is breadcrumbs, stringing people along, making people think that something's going to happen when you and I know that it's not going to happen. And these are the people who do influence millions upon millions of minds. Just like Rick Meiselas from Midas Touch negatively affects millions of minds on the left.
When we're talking about someone who trafficked children, I mean, these are sick people dancing with these files. I don't know. Oh yeah, another day, another airplane is on fire in the United States of America. That happened yesterday.
Now Ben here is going to pin an engine burnout on a FedEx plane on Donald Trump. That's disingenuous, Ben.
Donald Trump and Lindsey Graham looking miserable. The new FBI deputy director, Dan Bongino, I don't even know why he posted this yesterday, which was March 1st. He posted this yesterday. Today is March 2nd, and Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Yesterday was literally March 1st when he posted that, and he may want to look because the last day in February, right before March 1st, that's the way it works, February then March, the Atlanta Federal Reserve predicted negative 1.5% GDP growth when it was supposed to be under former President Biden, somewhere close to 3%. Take a look at all the papers worldwide condemning Donald Trump. In addition, Trump has lost the Daily Mail. When you lose the Daily Mail, yeah, you're a global pariah, as Anonymous writes. Trump on Friday presided over one of the greatest diplomatic disasters in modern history, a spectacle to horrify the world. But you know, I guess that's the art of the deal. It's four-dimensional chess, everybody. I'll show you this.
That's a legitimate criticism too. 4D chess. Hey, Trump is 10 steps ahead of the game. Elon Musk, probably 50 steps ahead of the game. Just trust the plan. There are good guys in government who are going to weed out the bad guys in government. Then why don't we have all of the Epstein files? Why haven't all the people in those files? And why haven't we released all the videos? You know there are congressmen. You know there are senators. You know that there are high ups in the Pentagon that Jeffrey Epstein grabbed in his Mossad blackmail ring, which is what it is. And why is it that Donald Trump is not being forthcoming about what's in the Epstein files? Not just the files, but all the videos. Show us all the videos. We're in the internet age. All you got to do is upload them to the internet so that we can watch them at our leisure and find out exactly who's implicated in these treasonous crimes against America.
Federal workers at a Virginia town hall at the end of last week. Here is what they want to say. Play this clip.
The email that came out wanting us to justify our jobs with 5 things we did last week was on Saturday night. And I was literally working on Saturday night to make up for all the distractions I had the previous week, which came from the executive branch. And so I'm working, trying to catch up on things, and then I get that email on top of it. It's very hard to keep your train of thought when you're getting threatened and harassed like that.
I support the Defense Department, and the jobs that we do are so stressful, and to have this on top of it.
I support the Defense Department, just carte blanche, just the entire Defense Department, the entire expensive, wasteful, fraudulent Defense Department.
I know
that's antithetical to the United States and to all Americans.
that that's their goal, is to make it miserable.
And don't forget about my colleagues that are overseas, and they don't even know how they're getting home, and they're just being terminated.
I feel like what they're doing is sending out these text messages, saying, oh my God, we've got to do X because this is happening. I'm retired. I can't throw money unless I know what the money's going to be used for.
Did you hear that? They said, Musk and Trump, their goal is to make us miserable, right? So whether we're talking about the ruby red Texas third or you go into Virginia, which is purplish, people are pissed, and they should be. I mean, take a look at this headline from CNN on Friday. Markets wrap rough month driven by extreme fear. U.S. stocks seesawed Friday, but all 3 major indexes closed the month in the red, a sign of increasing unease in the markets. Volatility gripped markets as traders closed out a dismal February that wiped out some games. Quote, extreme fear was the sentiment driving the markets on Friday and for the 4th day in a row, according to CNN's Fear and Greed Index. And then it goes on to say the VIX, Wall Street's fear gauge, popped to its highest level this year. In the afternoon, it said while trading markets recouped losses, U.S. markets sputtered in February and slid this week. Quote, we believe there is a valid concern in the markets right now. And so while all this is going on, what is Elon Musk talking about? So Joe Rogan losing to us in the podcast ratings. And I know it's getting to him. I've heard how much it's getting to him. So he needs better ratings. So he brings on Elon Musk.
Man, this guy knows how to pat himself on the back. These people are insidious. Yeah, I got no love for Joe Rogan. It looks like he's working for the elites. So is this guy. This guy's working just as much for the elites as Joe Rogan is.
Because he thinks that's going to get him better ratings than us. He wants to be #1 podcast again. So you have Elon Musk, and Rogan just launders the oligarchs and tries to make them cool. But I think everybody knows that Rogan is just an oligarch launderer at this point. So here you have Elon Musk with Rogan saying,
let's call it what it is. Rogan's a gatekeeper. Midas Touch is a gatekeeper, a gatekeeping channel. Anybody who's going to be a propagandist for the DNC and the RNC, which are corporate entities, are being propagandists for the elites, period. This is where they get this is their gravy train. They're not going to hop off the gravy train. Let me show you something else that I don't know if Midas Touch is going to deal with this right here. But today, Donald Trump issued a U.S. crypto reserve he says will elevate this crucial or critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed at the Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, SOL, SOL, and ADA, which is Cardano. Let me show you what happened with XRP immediately after he announced that. It went from 201 per coin to 256. Currently it is sitting at 287. I don't know if you can see that. It's sitting at 287. So it went from 201 to almost 290 on the word of Donald Trump. And let me just show you this and why it matters. If you know Donald Trump, if you're in the ins with Donald Trump and you had just a 5-minute lead time or a 24-hour lead time on this announcement with the crypto reserve, you can make a bet like somebody else did 24 hours ago. Someone took $200 million worth of Ethereum and Bitcoin longs on a 50 times average or leverage. And it says this means that even a 2% drop in Bitcoin would liquidate $200 million. Today, President Trump announced the U.S. crypto reserve, including BTC and Ethereum. Did someone know? And that's a good question. Did someone know? Who knew? Who benefited? Key bono.
That Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Let's be clear. Not only are they going after your Medicaid in the budget, I want you to hear it for yourself. They're going after your Social Security. And what do we know? One of the ways they're doing this, I think they're set to fire 6,000 to 7,000 people who work at the Social Security Administration, which is going to basically make it very difficult for you to even get your Social Security check. Then there's going to be chaos, and then I think they're going to stop paying it. I mean, let's just...
What's scary about this, and Miceless won't come clean with this. It looks like what we're doing is being set up for another level of the Hegelian dialectic problem reaction solution. They're going to create chaos in the markets, wait for the fear-based reaction. Oh my God, you got to make a correction and then step in to provide the pre-planned Palantir technology solution, because you know it's good to uncover waste, fraud, and abuse in government and to expose those who are engaged in that. And then you've got another level of deception and really elitism when they want to replace these human beings with AI that makes the government more efficient. To make the government more efficient is to give the government power that it wouldn't have had under human beings. Now they're going to collect more taxes. Now they'll be able to cut you off immediately instead of waiting through a process. They can plug you into an algorithm, maybe connected with social credit scores and carbon taxes and UBI and all the things that elitist Elon Musk and Donald Trump want, which is the same thing that the people on the left want. They want total control over the American people and the people of the world.
I'm not trying to fear monger. Just listen to Elon Musk, who's running the government, right? I'm coming with a receipt. This guy we know is running the government for reasons that are still unclear to us all. We know that Trump and Elon are refusing FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act, saying that he's entitled to executive immunity, Presidential Records Act, and he's in the executive branch, so he won't testify. But he goes on Rogan. Here's what he says. Here, play this clip.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations,
which are unfunded liabilities, which includes Social Security and Medicare. And it's up to, I think last time I looked at it, $220-something trillion. So it's far beyond the regular debt of $36 trillion. It's $222 or $223 trillion. That is such a monstrous amount. It's ridiculous. In a sense, he's right. Social Security started off as and is a Ponzi scheme. It's not funded. It's been liquidated a long time ago. They're just borrowing against the debt to make sure that they get these paychecks. That is what a Ponzi scheme is. That is the very definition of a Ponzi scheme. If it looks like a Ponzi scheme, if it sounds like, if it quacks like, then it's probably a Ponzi scheme. There's no argument with Elon Musk here, but Ben will argue with it because Ben Miceless from the Midas Touch Network, he'll argue it against it because that's the Republicans saying that. If the Democrats were saying that, he'd be all for it.
So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations.
Double. It's almost 8 times more than the regular, what you would consider the national debt.
So basically people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
So yeah, I don't think I'm fear-mongering when I'm playing you the clip of ultimately what he is saying. Take a look at what the Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote about Trump's meeting with Zelensky. It is bewildering to see Mr. Trump's allies defending this debacle as somehow a show of American strength. And that's why, by the way, when J.D. Vance went to Vermont for a vacation, they were all vacation. All these guys just a vacation. He was greeted with boos. Play this clip from Fox.
For Vice President J.D. Vance and his family following yesterday's fiasco there in the Oval Office with Ukrainian President Zelensky. There's some new video now we have showing the vice president being greeted by protesters holding anti-Vance, pro-Ukraine signs as he makes his way there to Vermont for a ski resort vacation. More protesters met the Vance family outside of the resort, and the family ultimately had to move to an undisclosed location.
Here are some of the signs. Vance is a traitor. Go ski in Russia. Goodbye, free world. Traitor Trump loves Russia. Our friend Adam Kinzinger, former Congress member, posted this photo right here. The Trump-Zelensky meeting. Sometimes political cartoon sum it all up. Great work to the Chattanooga Times Free Press. Mr. Bennett posting it. Great work. Hit subscribe.
Let me just read you this real quick regarding Social Security. From the Mises Institute, they say the Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system. This means that when you work, the government takes your money and gives it to Social Security recipients. In order to get workers to accept this system, the government promises to take other people's money and give it to you when you retire. Think of it as an exponentially larger version of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. And one of the reasons that it's corrupt and one of the reasons that it's a scam is because you can't opt out of it. If you work for an employer, Social Security is automatically taking, and there's nothing you can do about it. They say as long as a lot of people die before collecting any benefits or die without collecting many benefits, the system is financially sound. In the 1950s, the worker to beneficiary ratio was 16.5 to 1. With people living longer, the worker to beneficiary ratio has fallen from 16.5 to 1 to 3.1 to 1. And within 20 years, it's expected to drop to 2.1 to 1. Due to this falling ratio, over the years, the feds have raised tax rates and now must consider further adjustments. So it can't sustain itself is the bottom line. And that's what makes it a scam. And that's why it is a larger version of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. And that's just the short version of it. There are more complex things dealing with Social Security and why it's a scam. The basic part about it is that you can't opt out of it. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and global thought police in the comment section below. Share this video, like this video, because these people right here got to be called out. They get this huge gravy train where, look, this thing has 3.04 million views now. When we started off, this has gained 100,000 views in just the 20-something minutes that I've been doing this video. So basically, they're getting more views in 30 minutes than I get all month long. Share this video if you view this as value-added content. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon if you want to support the channel further. There's the Cash App, the Buy Me a Coffee. If you want something in return, grab a shirt, grab a hat. But you can put the design on anything. Become a channel member. But more importantly, understand what's going on in the world and refuse to play the left versus right political parasitic game. I will see you in the next video.